Dear students, this is part 1 of chapter number 13, that is MySQL, SQL revision tour. We have already studied about MySQL in class 11th. So this is the revision for this only, right? So first of all, we should know that what is MySQL or MySQL. SQL stands for Structured Query Language, right? So what is MySQL? It is an RDBMS. So first thing, what does RDBMS stands for? It stands for Relational Database Management System, right? So what is RDBMS? Actually, we know that in SQL we can create tables, right? And these tables can be linked with each other. Similar type of tables can be linked to each other, and we can access the data of many tables by using single query. Okay, so this is actually the meaning of relational database management system. That means we are creating a relation between different tables to access the data from them, right? Next is MySQL is open source software. It is available for free. Like you have installed Python also, which is available for free. Similarly, MySQL also is a free software, and we can make modifications into it. Like in Python also, we have learned to create the libraries of our own, right? Next is, it is a client server architecture. That means there in MySQL, because it is a RDBMS or a DBMS, first thing is we need to create a server, and then there are different clients who can access the data from the server. Okay, mainly the data is present at the server location itself. That means the central area, that is the server. Next is the advantages of MySQL. So I'm just going to read them up quickly. Reduces data redundancy. That means redundantly or repeatedly the data need not be present. It should be means the repetition of the data is reduced to the minimum here. Okay, and if the data is reduced, the redundancy is not there. That means it will take less amount of memory area, right? Reduces data inconsistencies. Okay, inconsistent data means the data that is unreliable, right? So if your data is reduced, like for example, a child's data is present at 5 locations, different locations, and if some modification is done at one location and at other locations the modification is not done, right? So this means the data of that child is inconsistent right now. And if the data is present at one location only, then if any modification is done there, that means because redundancy is not there, so inconsistency will also be reduced. It will be reduced, right? Facilitates sharing of data. Okay, because I've told you data is present at a central location, that is the server, and all the other clients, they are actually accessing this data from the central location itself. Okay, so one table can be accessed by many people at a time. Okay, then comes security. So why security is required? Because data is the most important thing for any organization, right? So security is a must, and we have seen that when we used MySQL, it first of all asks for username and password. So every client is provided with their personal username and passwords, and then only they can access the data. Then integrity. Integrity means the same thing, that all the tables, all the relations, everything, they are interrelated to each other. Okay, enforce RDBMS's standard. So whatever the standards for RDBMS's are, like normalization of tables, reduction of redundancies and inconsistencies, security, all these things have to be maintained by any RDBMS to make it the RDBMS, right? So it has to enforce RDBMS standards. Then some terms that are related to relational data model, because basically relation are actually the tables, okay? So that is why it is called relational data model, right? So this MySQL is relational data model, and few terms regarding it you should know. First thing is relation only. Relation means a table that is storing its data in the form of rows and columns, right? Then what is a tuple? A tuple is actually a row, okay? Or we can say every record is one tuple here, okay? All the records are unique in a table, okay? So we cannot say that means we cannot keep two records of same means every field should not be same in two different records, okay? So all records must be unique here. Then attribute means the columns, okay? So the fields that are there of the table, they are known as attributes. It contains same type of information for all records. So let us suppose when we are, if there is an attribute known as roll number, so what will happen? Roll number will have the roll numbers of all the records, right? It will have the roll number for all the records. If the field name or attribute is father's name, then it will hold the father's name of all the records, right? So same type of information for all the records is stored in an attribute. Then what is a cell? Cell is actually the intersection of row and column. It is the smallest unit where you are going to keep your data, and data is one single item. Like if the field is like marks of English, so we can store the marks of English only. We cannot say 65.5 comma 85.6. No, this will be wrong. Okay, so one particular item, one particular element can be present in the cell. Now one more thing about tuple and attribute, that we cannot say that this is the first tuple, this is the second tuple. They are not numbered. Similarly, attributes also, they are not numbered, that this is the first roll number is the first attribute, second attribute is student name. So it is not like that. Attributes are known by the names and records are known by their uniqueness. Some primary key or something that we'll just discuss. So domain, what is a domain? If you're a math student, you must have understood that domain is a set of all those values that can be provided to some attribute. Like for example, let's suppose marks. So if I'm saying marks between 0 to 100, so the domain will be 0 to 100 only. The set of values will consist of 0 to 100 only. No negative numbers and no number greater than 100 will be the part of this domain. So this is what is a domain. Degree. Degree is the number of attributes in a relation. Okay? The number of attributes, number of columns that are there in a relation, they are known as degree. Next comes cardinality. Cardinality is number of tuples or rows in a relation. How many records are there in your relation? Right? That is known as cardinality. And this always comes in 1 or 2 marks question. They give you one table and then they ask you the degree and cardinality of the table. Right? So do not get confused. Degree is for attributes. Cardinality is for the number of records. Then comes views. What is a view? Basically, view is a virtual table. That means a table in itself is not present. Okay, there is no table in reality, but because we have created a view, that means one query is there, and according to that query, whenever we execute that query, a table is created there, and you can work upon that table. Everything can be done, but once the thing is over, the table is gone. That is known as a view. So for a view, only we have a query basically that is to be stored, but not the table itself. So view is generated from a base table itself. One table should be there, main table should be there, from which the view is generated. Some part of the table is generated because of some query, and then we can work upon it, but still the main table remains unchanged, and the view table is never going to be stored anywhere. Then comes primary key. So what is primary key? It is a unique key, or maybe there are more keys. Okay, so one or more keys which are unique, which tells that which actually makes the record unique, or a tuple unique. Okay, it helps in identifying that record. Like for example, roll number 8. So roll number is a field that can be set as primary key, because two students of the same class cannot have the same roll numbers. So the key that is going to, or that attribute that is going to identify a record, that is a primary key. Alternate key. Alternate key means, like, there can be many keys that can be the part of your that can be actually primary keys, that can become primary keys, right? So alternate key means a key that can become primary key but is not. Like for example, roll number is a primary key, and if I say the email ID, so email ID can also be a primary key, right? But if it is not the primary key, then it is actually the alternate key over there. So any key that has unique values and could have become the primary keys, but they are not, those keys are alternate keys. So with this only we come to the another thing, that is candidate key. So what is a candidate key? Candidate key is the collection of all those keys that can become primary key. Okay, all the keys that can serve as a primary key in a table are the candidate key. So from the candidate keys only we select one primary key, and rest whosoever is left, they becomes the alternate keys. Okay, so the next term is foreign key. What is foreign key? Foreign key is a key which is actually taken from some other table. Okay, and in that table it is some primary key, or it contains all the unique values, right? So from base table we are actually taking some key, right, in some another table, or the child table we can call it. So from main table or from the parent table we are taking some key into the child table, and in the main table that key which is the foreign key in the child table, that key in the main table must be the primary key, or it must contain unique values, right? So here you can see, this is the table: student ID, roll number, first name, last name, and email. So student ID, roll number, and email, all three are unique. Okay, so these all are candidate keys. If I choose student ID to be the primary key, then roll number and email, they becomes alternate key. Next we come to foreign key. So student ID, first name, last name, course ID. Okay, this is my main table or the parent table. Then the second table that I have, it has course ID which is taken from the main table, right? And course name, sorry, this is the main table, course ID and course name. This is the main table here, and from this we have taken another table, student ID, first name, last name and course ID. So course ID is taken from this table. Okay, course ID is the primary key over here, and a relationship between these two tables are created, and here course ID is the foreign key. Next, we should know what is referential integrity. Actually, these are the rules that are set by DBMS to ensure the relationship between records in a related table. They are valid and user don't accidentally delete or change related data. So when we create two tables and we create links between them, how the link is created? By providing a foreign key to the child table. This is how we create the link. So referential integrity just makes sure that by mistake also no data should be deleted from the child table or from the main table, so that the data becomes inconsistent. So you can see here the conditions for referential integrity are, first thing is matching fields must be primary key or has unique constraint in the primary table. This I have told you that in the parent table it should be the primary key or the unique key constraint must be there. They must be of same data type. That means the field that is there in parent table as well as in the child table, okay, which actually creates the link, like their course ID is there. So in the base table as well as in the child table, both of them should be of the same data type. If that is a string type of data, then here also it should be string type of data. Both tables must be in the same database. So whatever the tables are which are linked together, they must be within the same database itself. Then only referential integrity can be formed between them. Next is rules of referential integrity. So what all rules are there so that the integration between the two tables should be valid. So what are the rules? Value to be added in the foreign key field must exist in primary key, in the primary table. So if I'm including some value, like if I'm including value as 2, so this value must be there in the primary table also. If I'm including value in the foreign key as 10, so this value must be there in primary table as well, right? So values must be there in the primary table, first thing. Can't delete a record from the primary table if its related values present in reference table. So if in your child table I have a value 10 in my foreign key, okay, then in my base table I cannot delete that record whose primary key is 10. I cannot delete that record, because if I'm going to delete the record there, then here also in child table also this record needs to be deleted, right? So I cannot delete the record until and unless I'll delete the record from the child table, right? Similarly, can't update the primary key value if its related value is present in reference table. So if I want to update the value in my base table, so first of all it should be updated in the child's table, then only in the base table the value can be updated, right? So these are the rules of my referential integrity. With this we come to the end of this part. I'll meet you in the next part now. Thank you.